She didn't hire a lawyer. She didn't tip off a gossip blog. She didn't drop some polished statement through a PR team. Instead, she hit the live button and said everything straight to the camera. NBA YoungBoy's baby mama Arcola jumped online and spoke on things that people say can't be taken back once they're out there. She named names. She flashed what she called proof. And within minutes, the internet was watching in shock. Now millions of people are asking the exact same question. Did she just damage NBA YoungBoy's career for real? This all popped off on March 2nd, 2026. That's when Arcola, the mother of YoungBoy's son Kale, opened a live stream and started unloading years of built-up frustration. No lawyer standing behind her, no media strategy, no carefully edited post, just her, the camera, and a lot of serious claims she said she'd been holding in for a long time. She looked straight into the lens and spoke with raw emotion, letting everything spill out in real time. And by the time the live ended, clips were already flying across the internet. People weren't just watching drama. They were hearing accusations about a pattern folks online had already been whispering about, a relationship many had been side-eyeing, and a young child who came home from a visit with a mark on his hand that his mother refused to ignore. The person she called out the loudest? NBA YoungBoy's wife, Jalen Michelle, and Arcola made it clear she was not holding back. But before breaking down what she actually said and why the internet exploded, you have to understand the full backstory. Because without knowing the history, the moment won't hit the same. Let's start this story from the very beginning. NBA YoungBoy, born Kentrell Deshaun Gaulden on October 20th, 1999 in Baton Rouge, Louisiana, is far from your average rapper. We're not talking about someone who just had a hot moment and faded away the next year. This is a certified record-breaking force in hip-hop who has been dominating the scene since he was still a teenager. His run in the rap game has been loud, relentless, and impossible to ignore. By early 2026, the numbers around his career look almost unreal. YoungBoy holds the record for the most Billboard 200 chart entries by any rapper in his 20s, with 34 different albums hitting the chart. That smashed a record that stood for years, and he pulled it off in only about 8 years of releasing projects.
I was in the venue watching 21 Savage perform. I was standing next to Genia. Genia, like, points upstairs, like, go upstairs, like, YoungBoy from upstairs, like, he wants you. So I go upstairs. YoungBoy drags me by my hair. He drags me by my hair in front of everybody. He drags me by my hair and like dragging me into this room. And I'm like, let go of my hair. Like, let go of my hair. Like, what the fuck are you doing? So I'm embarrassed. This just dragged me by my hair in front of everybody. So I cry and I run to the bus.
That level of consistency is rare in any genre, let alone rap. And the accolades don't stop there. He's also one of the most RIAA certified rappers ever, stacking up more than 126 gold or higher certifications as a lead artist. Major outlets noticed too. Complex even placed him on the cover and labeled him the best rapper alive for 2020, which only added more fuel to his massive momentum. His Make America Slime Again tour reportedly pulled in over $70 million across 42 shows, moving hundreds of thousands of tickets. Online, his YouTube channel exploded past 15 billion views, making him one of the most watched artists on the entire platform. This isn't luck, it's a full-blown rap empire. But while his music career kept reaching higher and higher, his personal life kept pulling just as much attention, and not always for the right reasons. Now here's where things start getting complicated. NBA YoungBoy's personal life has always been a huge talking point online. The rapper is known to have 13 biological children with around 10 different women, with that journey starting when he was only about 16 years old. His first child, Caden, often called Draco, was born in 2016, when YoungBoy was still basically a teenager himself and barely old enough to drive. Since then, the number kept growing year after year. Fast forward to late February 2026, and his wife Jalen Michelle had just announced the arrival of another baby, which pushed the total to 13 children. The timing of that news was wild because it dropped just days before this entire situation exploded online. People didn't know it yet, but a huge storm was about to hit social media. Jalen Michelle Hayes, YoungBoy's wife, reportedly came into the picture around 2022, and the two later made things official with a marriage in 2023. Since then, she's welcomed multiple children with him, including the newest baby right before all the drama started heating up. On the surface, Jalen always carried herself as calm and unbothered. She stayed away from internet arguments, skipped the blog drama, and mostly posted family moments while looking confident and composed. That image of the quiet, loyal wife who stays above the chaos, that's exactly the image Arcola stepped forward to challenge. Arcola, often described online as YoungBoy's seventh baby mama, is the mother of his son Kale, born around 2020 or 2021. For years, she stayed low-key, raising her child mostly outside the spotlight, until something suddenly changed. According to Arcola, the moment that pushed everything over the edge involved her son coming back from a visit at YoungBoy and Jalen's home with a mark on his hand. The explanation she heard didn't sit right with her at all. Whatever happened that day seemed to flip a switch that had clearly been building up for a long time. And once that switch flipped, there was no stopping what came next. Not long after her live stream started spreading, a viral compilation popped up from the account Since Day One on X. The page stitched together clips from her live, highlighting the most intense moments. Within hours, the post racked up hundreds of thousands of views, with people sharing it everywhere and debating every word.
Honestly, it's not what y'all making it into. It's not as bad as y'all making it seem. Okay, I'm not in the room. Okay, I'm good. Maybe I just didn't need to go to sleep tonight. Shit, I don't know.
The caption on that post framed the entire situation in a dramatic way. It suggested that Arcola was finally confirming suspicions some fans had already been whispering about online. In that caption's words, Jalen was described as a wolf in sheep's clothing, someone who looked calm and innocent on the outside while allegedly moving differently behind closed doors. Meanwhile, Arcola sat in front of the camera with pure, unfiltered emotion. Her tone sounded like someone who had been carrying frustration for years and finally decided she was done holding it in. She wasn't trying to warm up the audience or slowly tell the story. She jumped straight into it with intensity, and people watching could tell immediately this didn't feel like a performance or a move for attention. It felt like someone releasing something heavy that had been sitting on their chest for a long time. The word burnt is where this entire situation really starts to turn. According to Arcola, the injury on Kale's finger became the main reason behind every claim she brought to that live stream. That mark on her son's hand was the detail she kept coming back to again and again, and she made it clear she did not believe the explanation she had been given. Arcola said when she first noticed the mark, she reached out to Jalen through text to ask what happened. Jalen reportedly replied and said it was a dog bite, but Arcola wasn't accepting that answer at all. During the live stream, she held up her hands and said straight to the camera that what she saw was not a dog bite. Her reaction was intense, and viewers could tell she was completely serious about what she believed. Then the live took an even more dramatic turn. Arcola started pulling up pictures of actual dog bite injuries and holding them next to the camera for comparison.
Hitting your son's mom in the face with a gun is crazy. When we was in the house, he told them to block the door. Like, they really not trying to give me my kid. These hoes really keep trying to take my son from me. Like, why? Y'all, first of all, need to stay the out of it. 2, I'm trying to run to the car. I'm unlocking the door. I get in on this side. I'm thinking I'm hurry up and locking it. Bitch, pop this door open. So I got bitch at this door and this bitch at this door. She keep trying to grab KL. I'm literally hugging my baby tight. Like, you're not grabbing him. Like, that's out. You're not grabbing my son.
She walked viewers through the differences like she was laying out evidence in a courtroom. At that point, the live stream started feeling less like a regular rant and more like a full-on case presentation. As soon as those clips hit social media, the internet exploded. Comment sections across multiple platforms filled up fast. People were zooming in on screenshots, pointing out the shape of the mark, the color, and exactly where it appeared on the finger. Before Arcola even finished explaining everything, thousands of viewers had already started forming their own opinions online. Now here's an important detail that needs to be clear. As of March 4th, 2026, there have been no publicly confirmed police reports, no verified CPS investigations, and no official confirmation from major outlets about the burn claim. Everything being discussed came directly from Arcola's live stream, where she shared her allegations in real time during what looked like one of the most emotional moments of her life. Still, she spoke with strong conviction and clearly believed what she was saying, putting her name behind it in front of millions of viewers. Another thing that had her upset was what she said didn't happen afterward. Arcola questioned why, if the injury really came from a dog bite, her son wasn't taken for a tetanus shot or any kind of medical follow-up.
I'm right there. This little not the bitch Dage, the other little I booted that bitch in her face too. She started trying to take off on me while I got KO. Then they tried to throw out there that I'm holding KO, so I don't have to fight. No. Because none of y'all hoes can't fucking whip me one-on-one. And two, y'all all keep trying to grab my son. Y'all keep trying to grab him. That's why I'm holding him. Y'all keep trying to take him from me. And I'm not letting you take him. I did not fly all the way out here and get a rental car and drive a whole hour up in the mountains just to let y'all thought I was really finna let y'all get him. That's just...
She kept repeating that point on the live. For parents watching, that detail stood out immediately because medical care after a bite or injury is something many people expect right away. From there, the conversation shifted into something deeper that seemed to have been building inside her for a long time. Arcola began speaking about what she felt was a lack of consistent involvement when it came to parenting Kale. She claimed the occasional visits and photos felt more like moments for social media than real everyday presence. Then she focused directly on Jalynn, challenging the calm public image many fans associate with her. That's when the internet narrative about appearances versus reality started gaining serious traction across social media. For a long time, the public image around Jalynn looked polished and almost untouchable. Online, she was often seen as the calm, composed partner who stayed above the chaos surrounding YoungBoy's world. Her social media showed family moments, confidence, and a woman who seemed completely unbothered by the noise around her. But during that live stream, Arcola challenged that entire image head-on. She said the persona people saw online wasn't the full truth and claimed the woman behind it knew exactly what picture she was presenting to the public. By this point, the live stream had clearly moved far beyond a simple co-parenting disagreement. What started as a complaint about an injury had turned into something much bigger. Viewers were now watching a heated debate about public image, family dynamics, and whether the peaceful household fans believed in was truly real or just the version people were shown online. During the live, Arcola also spoke emotionally about her son and the questions he asks about his father. She shared that he still misses him and still wants that connection. Moments like that shifted the mood of the conversation quickly because it reminded viewers that behind all the headlines and online debates, there is a real child involved with real emotions. Even in the middle of anger and frustration, Arcola managed to deliver one final line that had the entire internet reacting. People across social media repeated it instantly, saying the moment felt raw, intense, and impossible to ignore. One of the most important chapters in the history between Arcola and NBA YoungBoy goes back to November 2023, and it's a moment that still gets brought up whenever their situation is discussed. Around that time, Arcola publicly claimed that a tense incident happened at YoungBoy's home in Utah while he was on house arrest. According to her account, she had arrived there to pick up her son Kale, but she said the situation escalated quickly. Arcola alleged that two women confronted her and that things turned physical during the encounter. She claimed she was struck above the eye and ended up needing 5 stitches after the incident. She also stated that she was holding her child in her arms when everything happened, which made the situation even more alarming in her telling. The disagreement, she explained, allegedly started over travel expenses connected to coming to pick up her child. During that time, screenshots of texts reportedly involving Jalynn circulated online as part of the back and forth about money. Even so, Arcola did not accuse Jalynn of physically taking part in the altercation itself. Arcola also said she didn't plan to press charges, but she still made sure her version of the story was heard publicly. That was back in 2023. By the time 2026 rolled around, it was clear the tension between them had not faded. It had grown even stronger. So when Arcola announced during her March 2026 live stream that she had filed for child support, with a court date set for June 26, 2026 at 8 a.m., many viewers realized this wasn't just talk. The paperwork was already in motion. See you June 26th at 8 a.m. When Arcola said that on her live stream, it didn't sound like a threat at all. It sounded more like a calendar invite. She made it clear that the situation had already moved beyond arguments online and into the legal system. Her accusations about YoungBoy's parenting didn't stop with the injury conversation either. Arcola openly called him a deadbeat, claiming he mostly shows up for quick photos or videos that make him look like a present father on social media. According to her, those moments may look good on a timeline, but she argued that the real everyday responsibilities, things like consistent care, support, and being involved regularly, were mostly falling on her shoulders. At one point, she even explained her reasoning bluntly during the live stream, She pointed out that YoungBoy has a large number of children with multiple mothers, and she questioned how one person could realistically balance that many family responsibilities while also dealing with a massive music career and other pressures. But this situation was never going to stay limited to just Arcola and YoungBoy. Drama around this circle almost never stays a two-person story. Soon another familiar name entered the conversation: Yaya Mayweather. Ayanna Mayweather, the daughter of boxing legend Floyd Mayweather and the mother of YoungBoy's son, Kentrell Jr., quickly became part of the online discussion. And anyone who knows the history already understands something important. Yaya has never been just a background figure in the YoungBoy story. Another major chapter in this complicated story goes back to April 2020 in Houston, Texas. That's when Yaya Mayweather was involved in a serious altercation with LaPatra Jacobs, who is also the mother of one of NBA YoungBoy's children. According to reports from that time, the situation started when Yaya arrived at the home and discovered LaPatra there. What began as a heated argument quickly escalated into a physical confrontation. Authorities later stated that LaPatra suffered multiple injuries to her arm, and Yaya was arrested and charged with aggravated assault with a deadly weapon, which is considered a serious felony offense in Texas. The charge carried a possible sentence ranging from 2 to 20 years in prison, making the case a huge headline at the time. In April 2022, Yaya eventually pleaded guilty and received 6 years of deferred adjudication probation, meaning she avoided prison as long as she followed the conditions set by the court. Years later, in November 2025, she posted a public message apologizing to her family and directly addressing LaPatra by name, framing the statement as part of personal growth and accountability. But when clips of Arcola's livestream began spreading everywhere in March 2026, Yaya suddenly re-entered the online conversation. She started reposting and reacting to posts that questioned Jalen's public image. Her reactions caught attention quickly because of her history with the situation. Soon after, Jalen's sister Caliente stepped in and pushed back hard, sharing screenshots and making claims that Yaya had been apologizing privately while throwing public shade online. Just like that, a whole new side argument exploded across social media. As the online drama kept spreading, even more names started getting pulled into the conversation. Sisters, friends, and people connected to the situation were suddenly being mentioned across timelines. Screenshots, old messages, and so-called receipts began popping up everywhere. Within hours, the internet was juggling multiple side stories at once, but many of them pointed back to the same focus: Jalen's reputation, and whether the life she showed online was really as perfect as it looked. Then an older story resurfaced and started gaining serious traction again. A December 2024 storytime video from an Instagram model known as 7TV began circulating all over social media. In that video, she claimed she had been flown out to YoungBoy's home in Utah back in 2022, during a time when he was already publicly connected with Jalen. In her story, she described allegedly meeting him there during that period. During her live stream, Arcola brought that video up directly. She argued that Jalen either knew about situations like that or had reason to suspect them, but chose to stay anyway. Arcola suggested the lifestyle, marriage, and long-term security might have been reasons someone would overlook certain things. Whether that claim was fair or not, the conversation spread extremely fast online. And for someone whose public image was built around being calm, confident, and above the drama, having that kind of narrative attached to your name in front of millions of viewers created a huge wave of attention. But then another detail surfaced, and many people online said it hit YoungBoy's image even harder than the arguments about Jalen. As the back and forth kept escalating online, another claim started circulating that quickly grabbed people's attention. Reports spread across social media saying that during an argument, YoungBoy allegedly made a harsh comment about his son Kale while going back and forth with Arcola. Some people said it sounded like he was trying to get under her skin during the exchange. Now, to be clear, the exact wording, the tone, and the full context of that moment have all been debated online. But once the claims started spreading across timelines, the internet reacted instantly. Screenshots, reposts, and reaction videos flooded every platform within hours. And this reaction felt different from the kind of controversy YoungBoy had faced in the past. Over the years, many fans had defended him through legal issues, industry drama, and countless headlines. But this time, the conversation online became much quieter and more serious because the topic involved a young child, which many viewers felt was a sensitive line. Around that same period, reports circulated that YoungBoy temporarily deactivated his Twitter account as the discussion kept growing. Before that, he had publicly defended his wife Jalen, telling critics to leave her name alone and describing her as someone who brought stability into his life. But with Arcola's live stream spreading everywhere, Yaya Mayweather reacting online, and the 7 TV story resurfacing, the situation became a wave of attention that was hard for anyone involved to control. And to understand why Jalen's role became such a big topic in all this, you have to zoom out, because that narrative didn't suddenly start in 2026. To really understand why this situation exploded the way it did, you have to rewind back to November 2022, because that's when a major moment happened, and it came directly from YoungBoy himself. Around November 20th, 2022, he posted a very emotional message on Instagram that immediately caught the internet's attention. In that post, he said he planned to distance himself from several of his children, specifically those connected to situations where he felt there had been ongoing conflict with their mothers. According to him, the drama had been affecting his reputation and his peace. He also wrote something that shocked a lot of people reading it. YoungBoy said that those children would have the chance to reach out to him themselves once they were older and able to understand the situation for themselves. The statement instantly sparked huge conversations online, but what really stood out in that message was how strongly he spoke about Jalen. In the same post, he placed her on a pedestal above everyone else in his circle. At one point, he even wrote, "Jalen told me to stop trusting these," crediting her as someone who had been honest with him and supportive during difficult moments. For several of the other mothers raising his children, including Arcola, who had largely been raising her son on her own, that message reportedly felt like a major blow. To many watching, it looked like a clear signal about where everyone stood in YoungBoy's world. Looking back now, some people believe that November 2022 moment may have quietly set the stage for the conflict that eventually exploded during that March 2026 live stream. The tension between NBA YoungBoy's career and the constant drama around his life didn't start with fame. It started long before the charts, the millions of streams, and the viral headlines. His story begins in Baton Rouge, Louisiana, in circumstances that were far from comfortable. Before Kentrell was even old enough to understand the meaning of prison, his father received a 55-year sentence, leaving him to grow up without that presence in his life. Much of his childhood was shaped by his grandmother, the person he has described in interviews as his protection, his comfort, and the one who kept him grounded. Losing her later to heart failure after one of his juvenile releases was a moment that deeply affected him. When he was around 4 years old, a serious wrestling accident left him with a broken neck. Doctors placed him in a halo brace during recovery, and the scars from that injury are still visible today. Years later, music became his outlet. At 14, he started recording songs using a cheap microphone from Walmart, simply because that was the only equipment he could afford. His teenage years were also marked by serious legal trouble. At 16, he was arrested in connection with a shooting case and later accepted a plea deal. But even during those difficult moments, he kept recording music and pushing forward. By August 2017, he had signed a multi-million-dollar deal with Atlantic Records, launching a run that would soon make him one of the most watched and talked about artists in hip-hop. And even as the success kept climbing, the controversy around his life never fully disappeared. The legal problems and personal headlines around NBA YoungBoy never really slowed down. Court cases kept appearing, relationship drama kept making the blogs, and the spotlight on his private life never seemed to fade. But through all of it, his music career kept moving forward at full speed. One of the biggest controversies happened in 2018, when surveillance footage from a hotel in Waycross, Georgia, spread across the internet. The video showed an altercation involving YoungBoy and his then-girlfriend, Jania Meshel, in a hallway. The footage quickly went viral and led to serious legal trouble, including charges connected to assault and kidnapping allegations at the time. The case eventually moved through the court system, and in December 2019, YoungBoy pleaded guilty to a reduced misdemeanor charge of simple battery. He paid a fine, completed probation requirements, and continued focusing on his music career afterward. Despite the headlines, his fan base remained extremely loyal, and his streaming numbers continued to rise. During a later interview with Billboard, YoungBoy opened up about how years of controversy had affected him personally. He spoke honestly about the emotional toll of constantly being in the spotlight and dealing with conflict in public. Moments like that caught people's attention because it showed a more reflective side of him. Instead of just reacting to drama, he sounded like someone trying to process everything he had been through. And that's why the newest wave of controversy hits differently. It's unfolding at a moment when he has been trying to present a more stable chapter in his life. In May 2025, another major moment shifted the direction of NBA YoungBoy's story. He received a presidential pardon from Donald Trump connected to his federal gun case, and the impact of that decision was immediate. After years of legal restrictions and house arrest, the freedom that followed opened the door for him to move differently again. Soon after, he launched the Make America Slime Again tour, and the numbers were massive. The tour reportedly pulled in around $70 million, sold roughly 555,000 tickets, and ran through 42 shows across the United States. Fans packed arenas with the same energy they had always shown him, proving his core audience had stayed loyal through every headline and every court case. Then in January 2026, he dropped the project Slime Cry, which debuted at number 6 on the Billboard 200. On paper, his schedule looks stacked. A European tour has been discussed. Several more music projects are expected during 2026. A concert documentary is being planned, and his 38 Films brand is also expanding. So that raises the big question. Where does Arcola's viral livestream actually fit into all of this? Where do the allegations, the child support case, the online reactions, and the internet debates land when placed next to a career this large? At least in the short term, many observers say it hasn't seriously shaken his commercial momentum. YoungBoy's core supporters, often called the 4KT fans, have followed him since his early Baton Rouge days, and historically, they haven't turned away easily when controversy shows up. For many of NBA YoungBoy's fans, controversy has never been something that pushed them away. If anything, some supporters say the chaos around his life is part of why his music connects so deeply. His songs often come from real experiences, real frustration, and real pain. And the people who follow his career closely believe that honesty is what makes the music hit harder. Over the years, his career has pushed through a long list of serious headlines. There were legal cases, surveillance footage controversies, firearm charges, house arrest restrictions, and constant public disputes involving relationships and co-parenting situations. Yet despite all of that pressure, the numbers around his music kept climbing. During the years he spent on house arrest between 2021 and 2025, reports say he recorded hundreds of songs, turning confinement into productivity. He even released projects that debuted at number 1 while dealing with legal limitations. At one point, he also broke major Billboard chart records, proving his audience was still locked in, no matter what was happening outside the studio. So historically, the music itself has never been the fragile part of his story. His career has shown a pattern of surviving controversy again and again, but this situation feels different to some observers. Allegations involving a child's injury, even when unverified, naturally bring a different level of attention and concern. Unlike previous headlines that focused mainly on his own actions, this conversation involves a young child who had no role in the conflict at all. When accusations start involving a child, the conversation changes fast. It's no longer just entertainment headlines or gossip clips floating around social media. Suddenly, the scrutiny becomes heavier, and people begin asking much tougher questions. Situations like this bring attention from a completely different angle. People start debating what responsibility looks like when someone is raising a large number of children across different households. Others question how fame, pressure, and personal decisions collide when someone is balancing family life with a massive music career. The label of absent father has been mentioned in discussions about YoungBoy before, but this moment feels different to many observers. Now the online debate is happening alongside a child injury allegation and a scheduled court date, which naturally raises the level of attention around the entire situation. That court date, June 26, 2026 at 8 a.m., is no longer just something mentioned during a heated live stream. It's an official date sitting on a courthouse calendar. And once legal proceedings begin, the conversation tends to shift from fast-moving social media debates to something slower, more structured, and harder to control. What this moment really highlights is something that has followed YoungBoy throughout his career. His music success has always remained the constant. Through legal issues, public criticism, and non-stop headlines, the one thing that has continued moving forward is the career itself. He recorded hundreds of songs while on house arrest, released projects under extreme restrictions, and still managed to keep breaking major records in the industry. At this point, one thing is clear: the music career is locked in, the money is flowing, and the legacy in hip-hop is already being written. NBA YoungBoy has broken records, built one of the most loyal fan bases in rap, and proved again and again that controversy alone hasn't been able to stop his momentum. But the one area that has always stayed sensitive in his public image is the family narrative. The story he presents about being a father, a husband, and someone trying to build stability in the middle of a chaotic life. For a long time, Jalen appeared to represent that stability. Online, she was often viewed as the calm presence in his life, the composed wife who stayed away from drama and supported him while everything else around them looked messy. To many fans, that image symbolized the idea that behind the headlines, there was a real home being built. Then came Arcola's live stream, and that moment challenged the entire narrative. Her claims suggested the stability people saw might actually be something very different behind the scenes. Whether those allegations prove true or not is something only time, and possibly the courtroom, can answer. What's certain is that millions of people who watch that live stream will now be paying attention when June 26th arrives. If you made it this far, drop your thoughts in the comments, hit that like button, subscribe for more breakdowns, and share this video so more people can join the conversation.